Well, greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. Today I have a very fascinating interview. An interview you guys have waited a couple days for, a part 2 to Jean Phoenix. Before we get into it, a couple links. As you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, and my merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. The links to Patreon and PayPal are in the description below. My merch displayed directly under this video. Also, Dogman, Frightening Encounters, Volume 1 through 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeffrey Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, the links to which are also in the description as well. Finally, last but definitely not least, if you'd really like to help support this channel to continue to grow and go, simply subscribe, click the like button, and please leave a comment. It really does help, and it definitely matters. Now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's get on with tonight's upload, shall we? So, I said part 2 of the interview, but this is the third interview that I did with John Phoenix. I consider this part 2 because the first upload that we did was kind of like a pre-interview, like a warm-up. John's not very confident in his English, but I think his English is truly amazing. And I have no issues understanding him. It's not his first language. And I really think that he has a lot to share. And I'm looking forward to this one. So let's get into it, guys. All right, everybody. Today I have a special guest from Sweden. A kind of third upload with him, but it's pretty much the second interview where we have kind of a format to it. And everyone knows and really enjoyed that last video that John Phoenix and I did. John Phoenix, how are you today?
I'm great. Thank you for having me back. Yes, it's an honor.
It's great to have you back, and I appreciate that. And it's always nice to talk to you. You and I had been talking for 45 minutes prior to this, and it didn't even feel like it, It's...
No. Great minds think alike.
Yes, sir.
You never know who you come across, on your path in life. That's really funny. Yeah, for your listeners, that I and Jeff connected immediately, and we've been talking off air for a couple of hours now.
Yeah.
Not
And it's
just today, but these 3 times that we've been spoken.
Yeah, and not just about Dogman, about everything else. We've gotten to really know each other, and I really I appreciate the information that you have shared with me about Dogman and everything else. So
yeah, it's been a good chat.
Yes,
both on air and off air. So it's really nice.
Definitely. Now, really quick, I just want to point something out. John Phoenix and I did go through the comment section. John Phoenix commented on a lot of people, commented back on a lot of people. We're going to talk a little bit about those questions that were asked. And John Phoenix had a lot more time than I did to go through a lot of these, a lot of the comments. But really quick, I kind of want to emphasize on something. When John and I are talking, and it may seem like I'm cutting him off, I'm not cutting him off. We are having an interview, and that's kind of what John wanted. He didn't want where I just turn the mic over to him. He wanted to have kind of a formatted interview where I asked questions and he answered. So it's not like your normal interviews on this channel. And I'm only doing it because John Phoenix asked me to do it that way. So, John, but I'm going to turn the mic over to you for a few minutes just so you can
sure.
talk a little bit and get some information out.
Yeah. Yes, I will also state that I don't think that Jeff talked over me. was vice versa, because I get so much information and have so much information that I get a little bit excited sometimes, and I actually talk over Jeff. So I hope all of you have, what do you say, understanding for it, because like Jeff said, that I asked for this kind of format because I have so much information, and try to be structured on both my behalf and his behalf, so you guys have something good to listen to. That's why sometimes it's back and forth. Sometimes it doesn't matter, as long as the information goes out and you enjoy it, you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally okay with me.
Absolutely. And most of you did, or are actually.
A lot of people.
Which I've seen it. Yeah, and I will thank everybody who actually commented in the sections and had questions. I'm not going to be able to answer all the questions today, so this is going to be an ongoing process, because after each and every episode there will be new questions.
Yeah.
So the list goes on and on and on, but I'm up for it as long as Jeff thinks it's okay. We continue.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So the first thing I would like to say is about a photo. It was not Jeff's fault. It was not my fault, but the setting of YouTube made this photo not the way it's supposed to look like in one way. So I have set up one Facebook account and put the pictures on that Facebook account.
Yeah, I'll share that link. The link will be in the description below of this video, so you guys can see. I'm only allotted a small section, thumbnail small section. It's 9 by 16, so the picture is a lot bigger than that. I did see a lot of people. Yeah, I did see a lot of people made out the face though, and could see. I saw one lady say that the alpha had a different kind of structure to its face than most dogmen. Did you see that comment?
Yes, I saw the comment, but I'm looking at the picture now, and from the YouTube, and the thing is that there are actually some foliage in front of his face, but you can see the ears and his eyes definitely, and you can see it then in the other picture, the original picture, from a distance. So everybody has to have in mind the reason why it's blurry. You're going to see the other picture that we took, just the picture of the bog, and that's clear as day. The reason why almost everything, pictures, videos, get a little bit blurry is because of the energy from these kind of creatures. The vibe, the energy, the electricity, you can say.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. It does.
So even though you have a high-tech camera, probably is going to be a little bit grainy or blurry as well. So I saw that also that some people, not bashing, but they say, oh, you should do this and this and that. And I actually, or Miss Misha got this question before, and Alpha answered with a smile, and he said, we are not circus animal. And he has the truth to that one. It's actually on his terms, of course, and their terms. That's why she asked to take the first and only picture of him, and he said, take a picture just to show that they were there. For me, because she knew it. She didn't see him as well, but she felt.
Right. Yeah.
So, you guys, you have to have that in consideration of all kind of pictures or clips that you see on the internet that you think are authentic. I mean, there's so many fake stuff out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've always thought that too, that there is some sort of, there's always these grainy pictures or videos, and I've always felt like the reason why they are grainy, no matter what kind of camera or phone you are using, you could probably have a great phone and get a crappy picture. Like there was a photo that I took at the Conjuring house, and I have an S22 Ultra, which is one of the greatest camera phones out there right now. I had amazing photos of the whole house, And there's one photo, and I stopped to take all these photos. I wasn't on the move, but the camera phone actually has a correction to it where it'll stop the photo from moving and stuff, and try to autocorrect it. And there was something in that room when I took this photo that made the whole photo blurry. And it was really crazy. And that was because there's a vibration and energy there much greater than we as human beings are able to comprehend.
Yes.
So.
And the thing is that when they're standing, it was standing from a distance about 40 yards, and there were branches in the way. And like I said last time, there was one picture we were allowed to do. We were not allowed to treat them like circus animal.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that we're going to do a selfie with him. Like say, hey, smile, jeez.
Right.
Take one for the camera so we can put up on the internet because some people don't believe us. No. We have to pay respect to them. We have to respect their wishes. Otherwise, we will not be able to be in contact with them, because everything is based on loyalty with this pack, or actually my pack, or these kind of dogmen. Mm-hmm. Loyalty is everything.
Absolutely. Not even to just Dogman or any kind of whatever, just loyalty.
Yes.
In general.
Yes, exactly.
Really quick.
So the thing is that, like I said, that I know how to kill them. I know what they get hurt from, and also I can add that one that I can't jeopardize the security and safety of the pack. That's why I never reveal where they are.
Right.
And also the same thing with Miss Misha and somebody else who get in contact with them, because that's betrayal, and betrayal is punished by death if the task force finds out and come and start hunting them. Like I said, minor errors, corrections, that's no problem.
Mm-hmm.
You get slapped on the wrist, that's no problem. But the major thing is not to betray the trust.
Right. Right.
The same goes for your friends and your families and everything, that if somebody betrays your trust, you get really, really mad. Maybe you don't kill them, but some people do as well. That's also something that you guys need to know. That's why I have to choose exactly the information he wants me to reveal to you.
Yeah. All right. Well, really quick, we kind of talked about the photo. I got a couple of my own questions. I know that you read through the questions, so you can go through that after. But there are a couple of questions that I wanted to ask you that just through our conversation, I know you wanted to address. So I'm just going to ask them first and foremost. The word handlers, you use the word handlers quite a bit, and it's confusing. So can you kind of clarify what you meant about the word handlers?
Yes. When I was chosen to be in contact with the Big Alpha, I also have to be proven to be accepted by the pack, which are in my vicinity. So they have a local Alpha Dogman here. Like I said, I've never been in contact with him like I have with Alpha. So I have to have two handlers to see that I was up for the task from the beginning, since I was a kid. The one thing I experienced when I was a kid, that was my handler or my guardian, because they pick and choose a lot of people, and then they see through the years who can maybe stand the task. And it gets fewer and fewer and fewer, and then they, reveal themselves to you. And then maybe if you get dead scared, or they can sense that if you are up to the task, if you can stand the heat, you can say in one way. So that's why I call them handlers. Because second time I met them, when I had this tingling feeling back on my neck, it was actually a couple of years ago, and I read about the Dogman. I didn't know about that they were supposed to show themselves to me, and I got this very tingling feeling back on my neck when I was at the rest stop somewhere in Sweden. And I just thought to myself, well, F this, I'm not going to take a leak here. I'm going to the next gas station instead. So they're testing you. They're also testing, they have tested Miss Misha. I'm going to talk another time about the encounters and the beginning for her, the journey for her to actually be accepted, because like I said, they tested her as well. And of course you get dead scared more or less if something comes up in your face or you feel something. So it's not like a walk in the park and say, hey, John, we're going to pick him. Hey, come on, join the team.
Right.
Exactly the same thing as they do in different gangs. First, you are hang around, then you are a prospect, and then you full worthy member. So that's why I said handlers.
Okay.
And that's the way to go. Because they test your loyalty. They test your inner strength. They test everything. So they can...
It's all about protecting the pack.
Yes, and they can trust is everything. Loyalty and trust.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That really does. All right.
Well, I hope you guys are not confused anymore, because that's the key, the way to be accepted by the pack.
Okay.
And some other time I'm going to talk to you about Miss Misha's encounter with another pack.
Okay. All right.
And not all packs are friendly up here at all, but they still obey and respect Big Alpha. That's why I say I am under protection of Big Alpha, but I can not walk around in the woods and do whatever I like, because, hey, Big Alpha is protecting me.
Right.
Same thing with the different gangs. If you F up, major or small, then you have to pay consequences, which are different, depends on what you've done. So everything makes sense here.
Yeah, it does. It does. That actually brings me into my second question. You just said the Big Alpha, and we are referring to this Dogman as the Alpha. Well, that is a word that has meaning, which means number one, the one on top.
Yeah.
Does he have a name? Is there a name associated with him? I mean, I'm assuming that he was born, and he wasn't born his name Alpha. That's
Yes.
That's his title, kind of, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
The thing is that it's a good question, because I saw those in the comment section. Yes, they have names, but his name is very ancient and is very hard to pronounce for us, I and Miss Misha. So that's why we refer him as Big A or Big Alpha. She explained like this. Everybody just think about Game of Thrones and the different houses. And the different houses, they get the name in their world from the Alpha, who are in charge of the pack. And then they have a first name. So it is exactly like Game of Thrones. The house of whatever, I don't remember the name from the different houses there. So they have names, all of them have names. And they have a language, but they have a language telepathically, because they don't speak with the mouth, because they can't do it, because they are canines in that way. They can grunt, they can roar, and they can, of course, yapping and everything like that. They don't have a language as we do.
Okay.
In that way, because it's telepathic.
Did he ever explain to you, because you had said that the communication is done in English?
Yes, would be in English, yes, sir.
Did he ever explain to you why that is, even though your number one language is Swedish?
No, actually, I haven't asked him as well, but I think I have used English very natural since I was a kid in that way. So it just came up, and I also, when I read it and when I write, also actually answer the questions and everything, it comes very natural to me. Mm-hmm. So that's why maybe he found out that, yeah, it's easier to communicate in English with John instead of maybe Swedish. Maybe they will come later on. I have no idea, but I think it's good because I am fluently in English, even though I have a false accent sometimes here when I speak on your show. It sounds ridiculous sometimes.
No, you're fine. Believe me. Yeah, so there was the kind of two questions that I really wanted to touch on. The last thing before we get into the comment section questions that you went through, was there a chance to ask about the St. Christopher question that I asked at the end of the show?
Yes, sir. We're going to dig a little bit deeper into that one.
Okay. So we'll talk about this. We'll talk about the subscriber questions in the comment section, and if we can touch on the St. Christopher thing at the end of the video, that's what we'll do. And if we can't, we'll just do it another time.
We do it another time, Jeff, because Miss Misha hasn't had a chance to speak with BGA on that particular subject that much.
Okay.
She's very busy with her ordinary life.
Right.
So that's why we have to postpone this one to another show.
No need to explain it. It's understandable. No. People have lives. So you did go through the comment section. Obviously, John Phoenix has a job, and he's actually on vacation right now, so he's got some time to look at things and time to take advantage of things. And were there any questions that really jumped out at you that you really wanted to address right away?
No, actually not. There was some questions, actually more questions that I have to look deeper into, actually, because I've been really busy now. So I actually misunderstood Jeff. He said, talk to you tomorrow. And I thought, wasn't it Thursday we were supposed? And then, maybe he meant Friday, because Thursday was, maybe he's busy with something else and with his ordinary life. So actually I have been not so prepared as I was supposed to be, because I thought this one was supposed to be on tomorrow. Sorry.
Oh, that's fine.
So if you find questions or something like that, just fire away, Jeff.
Yeah.
I have some notes here, so I can go through them, but then it's going to be a little bit on and off on different topics. If it's okay with you,
whatever you want. Whatever you want. Whatever.
One question was about reptiles. What do you think? What do they think about the reptiles? And they are enemies because they're aliens. And reptiles actually did the same thing with Dogman as they do to some people here on Earth. That they abduct them and do experiments on them. You say on, yeah. And also do experience actually here also down on Earth. And they tried to extinct them. And this one was thousands of years ago. Because they don't want the word to be spread that they did such horrible things to the Dogman race. So that's why they are fighting the reptiles. Because the reptiles are, as well as some cryptids, enemies to the human race. Even though there maybe are some aliens that are good ones as well, but not very many.
Now, you had said that in the list of questions or list of information that you had given me, you had stated that the Dogmen, or the clans that live in Europe, closer to where you are, live in deep cave systems. But of course they sleep above ground when moving. And in America, it's, even if you don't believe in cryptids or reptilians or whatever, it's pretty much known that that reptilians dwell under the ground. Is that another big reason? Like, is it just because they're mortal enemies and they are aliens, or is it because of occupation, space, and stuff like that?
Yeah, and also that they did what they did to the Dogman.
Okay. And
They never forget. They never forget. They're very vindictive, even to other cryptids or other species and everything.
yeah. Now,
So that's why there are enemies in that way. And you have big cave systems all over the world, especially in the US and also up here, of course, because it's the Scandis. So that's why you never find bones. That's why you seldom see them, of course, the major population, because they can hide and disclose very well.
Yeah. Was the cuz we
Or is that
pardon?
Did I misunderstood? Sorry, did I misunderstood the question?
No, you were good. You were good.
Hit
But you had said that what they did to the Dogman. Now
Yeah.
we have Reptilian. There's like a story or kind of a lore that when the Reptilian came here from outer space or wherever they came from, they were in search of gold, and they actually had enslaved a lot of humans in the California region to mine gold. And that's kind of like why humans in general have a ingrained sense of gold being of value. Little kids even know that gold is a precious metal, and they don't even have to be told that. It's almost ingrained in our head. Were they slaves or something for the Reptilians? Were they enslaved? I don't understand what they did.
I'm going to check that one up, because this was brand new short information from Miss Misha, and she said that Alpha just told her just a little bit, and she left the subject because she felt that was not something that he wanted to share with us yet.
Okay.
So she said, I got this from him at the moment, but I didn't want to push the subject because I felt that was something that he was not maybe comfortable or allowed for us to know yet.
Okay. All right.
Maybe she's going to talk about it a little later on, but at that point she just left the subject.
Right.
Because it's interesting, of course, because we are trying to lay the puzzle, of course, but like I said, sometimes we don't get the information, even though mainly she asks due to various reasons.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, and like you said, there are certain things that can't be answered right now. But you said you had some sort of a sheet of stuff that you could talk about right now or something?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
They have extra bone structure, and certain areas on the body are enforced like Kevlar, like a Kevlar armor.
Okay.
Especially, I'm not going to tell you guys where, but I can tell you two things: the chest plate, and it's soft but still hard. You can say just like a body armor of Kevlar underneath the skin, of course. And also they have a plate above their genitals, because otherwise rogue ones, they can actually bite down there in that region to bite the testicles off.
Right.
And that's when two alphas clash. It's not everybody, but still two alphas. Because it happens. They also get challenged. And Big Alpha said that the civilized ones, they don't do that cheap trick.
Right.
But like I said, the rogue ones or the more ferocious ones, they do. So they have an extra protection down just up beneath the belly, or the belly area, you can say, if you're talking in human terms.
Okay. Yeah, we had talked about that, and we had said, I had brought up the fact that species of monkeys, like chimpanzees, they will, even, even if they're rogue or what, they almost, if there's something challenging an alpha, to rip off the genitals of a male is, just a show of power. And I found that pretty interesting, that it was designed that way to kind of protect almost. I've been looking at the comment section a little more too right now, and there's something that you and I talked about, and a person said that you are talking with, or they feel that because you are talking with a dogman, that you are talking to evil, and which is kind of strange if Dogman was brought here by a higher power. You want to elaborate on that little thing? Because you've elaborated on that for me, and we've spoken about it. Can you kind of share what you shared with me on that?
Yes, of course, and correct me if I'm wrong here.
Yeah.
The thing, they are not evil because they are here to protect us, the pure ones. Of course, there are evil ones from other planets who looks a little bit different from the ones that it actually is on the picture, like the big alpha and so on and so on. All around the world, they have different variations of dogmen, which are the ones who are protecting us. And if they are evil, then I wouldn't be standing here. Then I've been devoured on a bog outside Stockholm, for one thing. Or even killed when I was a kid, or when I was a young boy.
Or in your home.
Or in my home, exactly. So that's rubbish, in my opinion. There are, of course, evil dogmen, but they are the demonic ones.
Right.
So they are not evil in that way, but you should, of course, not challenge them. They can be very aggressive when you shoot at them. That's the least thing you should do, is actually aim at them. And then could come back to the enforcement of the body, because sometimes people think that they hit a dogman, but Alpha said usually they don't, because they get so scared. So they aim and shoot, and they think that they actually shot a dogman or two. And sometimes, the impact, the same thing if you wear a body armor. If you have as a body armor of Kevlar, and I'm standing in a couple of yards away, and I fire me with a high power gun and high power bullet, you fall down of the impact. But it is the vest who takes the hit, not the body. The same thing with Dogman. If you have high power rifle and you shoot at him, and maybe they fall down, or in quotes, get unconscious or whatever.
Okay.
So he said that usually humans miss because they get so scared for all the right reasons. I mean, it's not every day you see a 10-foot werewolf standing a couple of saying that it's of course I understand those ones who shoot at them, because you think you are in very life-threatening situations. So I don't look down upon them who do this towards Dogman. Of course not.
Right.
Because I wasn't there. I don't have these people's feelings. Of course, I would do the same. If you have a rifle, if you have a gun, and you see something coming at you, doesn't matter if it is a human or a ferocious dog or a lion or tiger, elephant, water buffalo, whatever. You protect yourself, and of course you shoot if you can. If there's nowhere else to go, you can say.
Yeah. I think
I totally understand them. I don't blame these persons, but he said that the absolute least thing you shall do, or the last thing you should do, is to shoot at them. Then you have a lot of happy, trigger people. And the reason why they are fighting with hunters. I mean, not the task force. Hunters is if you hunt them for sport, then they become very vindictive, and that's why some hunters die, because dogmen protect themselves. Even though I said they are not evil or they are this and that, when shit hits the fan, they protect themselves and they kill or neutralize those ones who are hunting them. And they know that when they do, there are going to be consequences, because then the different forces or authorities, the secret agencies, black operations, then they come and search for them. But it's reverse, because if they feel threatened, they attack as well. They don't have any guns, but they have the body, the claws, and they're fast.
Yeah.
So it works both. It works both ways.
I really think that a big difference is that the dogmen in America seem to be a different breed of dogmen that are over there. Our dogmen here toy with human beings, have almost virtually no respect for them, and there's been attacks, obviously, on livestock and stuff like that. So I think that's why we view them as evil. And of course, with the red eye shine, anything that has red eye shine, we automatically assume that it's evil, because red and dark, you just, it kind of goes hand in hand with the devil. So I think that's a big difference than the dogmen in Europe to here. We don't have, quote unquote, the pure blood ones, which I don't understand what the difference of pure blood to non-pure blood dogmen is. If it's coming from,
you like I said last time, you can actually compare it to settlers who came from Ireland, Great Britain, Scandinavia to America.
Right. So
it was a Wild West.
That's where they came from. They came from Sweden, Norway. That's where the dogmen originated from.
Yes, the civilized. Yes, they were civilized here, and they're still civilized, and that's why the latest trade in history was 1003.
Okay.
They have what about long before with other civilizations? So you can compare it to people coming, during the 17th century to America.
Right.
I've seen Yellowstone. Not Yellowstone. I've seen Billy the Kid, for instance. You're civilized in New York, for instance. You have the police, you have a task force, you have everything, and everybody.
Well, I wouldn't call New York City civilized, but
no,
I'm just kidding.
Just to compare,
no, I know.
Just to compare that they have a civilization there, and then you go out, in the Midwest, and it's like a Wild West, because people are shooting each other over land, over some stuff, like argument.
Okay. All right. Now
so
I'm not
look upon it like that.
With this next question, I'm asking a question because I'm curious and I want to know. I'm not targeting you, so please don't think I'm targeting you. But you said that they originated from Sweden, Norway area, but in 1003 is when the kind of fall with humanity stopped. But if they originated from that area, why thousands of years before that time were there dog-headed humans spotted in Egypt, India, and stuff like that? I mean,
yes,
that's kind of confusing.
Yeah, they originated the civilization here, the pure ones. They originated from here, and that was thousands of years. And the dog-headed people down there, they are a little bit different. They're looking like Anubis. It's not the same species, you can say, per se. So there are variations, and those ones who were in Egypt, they actually didn't come from the same place as the so-called pure ones up here.
Okay.
Because they have different ears. If they are similar, like you have in USA and Scandinavia and maybe Russia, they're a little bit different. They're the East European dogmen, apart from maybe those ones down south in Europe and also America, and South America is a whole another ball game. So you can look upon the races as actually the human races.
Right.
Some are dark skinned, some are white, some are pale, some are oriental. And there are 7 different species, and they are coming, like I said, they're coming from different places, but they have the same purpose here.
Okay.
And like we talked about before, the ones who are the locomotive for them, they were situated up here, and still are, of course, here in Scandinavia. That's why the last fallout so far was with the Vikings. The fallout with the ones down the Mediterranean and Middle East, that was way before. Because of, like I told all of you, that they didn't get paid. And those civilizations down there, they thought that they were superior to mankind.
Okay.
So that's why the fallout was way before in other part of the world than up here. It's isolated up here in one way.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Always been isolated part of the world. Scandinavia, I look it up, and I can say Sweden is not Switzerland. So don't confuse it with Switzerland. Switzerland is below Germany. So if anybody wants to check out the European map, just do it, please, because then you maybe see what I'm talking about, because maybe you have to fresh up your memories.
Yeah.
Not everybody walks around with the map in their head.
Right. And a lot of Americans don't realize, we may know the land geography of America because, we don't really go to Europe too often. So, not many people are familiar with where Sweden is. It's kind of landlocked. It's between
It's a peninsula.
Norway
it's a huge peninsula.
Yeah. I've got a good question from a subscriber, and
yes,
it's a very good question. There's a lot. Actually, it's multiple questions, but I'm just gonna read it really quick, and I think you can touch on it because I can almost touch on a couple parts of it, but I want to know, if possible, to make an attempt to make peace with these dogmen. I don't agree with any entity being mistreated. I have love for all life. I do not wish to have controversy with anyone if possible. Can this be achieved? Also, why has their existence been hidden from us? Why would the Vatican do this? What purpose does all of this being hidden serve? Definitely, what can be done about the aggression of some of these dogmen attacking and devouring human? Or is it truly dogmen? Could it be demonic spirits instead? Just off the top, I think this person's referring to the Americanized dogmen as a whole different, thing. We had talked about the Vatican privately as well. And I don't know if that's something that you want to touch on.
Other people, sorry, not to talk over you. Some other people on different channels has already touched the subject accurate. The reason why they don't reveal the cryptids, it's, of course, money and income. It's about the logging industry. It's about the tourism. It's about, wildlife, where people go out in the recreations area or nature reserve. It's billions of dollars who get lost if they reveal, oh, by the way, you have a couple of werewolves running around here. And the reason why they are aggressive is territorial. Mainly, they get pushed away from their territory, and expansion of new areas for the humans. That's why they get very aggressive, and they can have a blood feud with some people for generations, like the Siege of Lockett Ranch-ish. And the reason why they get so aggressive and they are vindictive in generations is because they don't know if the next generation or their generation after that one will come and hunt them down. And in the beginning, it was actually the Dogman's fault because they were territorial and aggressive. Of course, they maybe get shot at, but then it changed into that they have to back away and they want to regain their territory, and they got hunted down, fired at. So that's why you may have in certain areas feuds that are lasting for generations. And of course, nobody backed down.
Yeah. I'm looking for a question.
The reason why authorities also don't want to reveal the existence of them is because everything comes to its peak of, like I said last time, religion, power, and money. They can't reveal stuff for us because then it would be some, not anarchy, like I said, it's not anarchy, but chaos. So many people need to have a faith. They want to have a faith. They believe in a faith. And when things are not there, when things are reality and you reveal this information, then some people deny it, some people take it under consideration, but your whole picture is changing forever.
Right.
When you get new information that you believe in. So that's why the different major religions, they want to keep, of course, the people who believe in them because of power, because of money. The Vatican is the most powerful and has the greatest resources for thousands of years. That's why they have the vault. That's why they were so furious with Dan Brown's the Da Vinci Code, for instance.
Yeah, and we talked about that.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to comment on really quick too is the questions, and I know you were very excited about this, but I'm gonna ask. I'm going through the questions in the comment section, and they're questions that you answered to each person. Now, I kind of what I wanted to do is just get a list of questions and then ask the questions aloud and have you answer them. That way, because you had answered, like, one person would ask a question and you'd answer that question, but not everybody could hear that answer or see that answer. You know what I mean? So I'm going to go through. There's a couple of good ones that I just found, and it's how do the alphas from different continents travel to meet?
Yeah, the Vatican, they send a plane and they meet up in Washington, D.C. No, I'm just kidding. They go into other dimension and meet up physically. Like I said, picture a corridor. You have lots of doors. You open up one and you close the other one. So that's why they meet in person.
And they're not meeting on Earth. Are they meeting in a different?
They're meeting in a different dimension, but they also can meet here on Earth. But they don't do that often. They don't want to use that kind of ability that much, because they have also some rules and regulation how to use their power. So that's why it's easier to step into another dimension and meet over there. And also, of course, it's for security reasons, he said now.
Yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, you've got different alphas on different continents, how would they
Yes, and
travel and not be seen?
yeah,
So just pop
and-
in and you're somewhere else meeting with the other equals.
yes, because not everybody are friends with everybody within that community as well. You know, there are always someone's striving for power, like humans. So there have been altercations now as we speak up here in Sweden and Norway, Alpha said, and they have some problems, major ones and smaller ones, with young upcomers who want to actually they do some kind of mutiny, and they failed, and it was some of them who got executed, and some of them got, what do you say? They was chased away from the pack, so they became the rogue ones.
Okay.
You say expelled, right?
Kind of like
Expelled is the right word.
excommunicated or expelled. Yeah.
Yeah, expelled from the pack, and those ones are the ones who are forming maybe a new pack,
Okay.
and that kind of pack are the ones who attacks the cattle. And if you're alone, you become crazy.
Yeah.
So you have a case now up in Norway that one hunter, she said, I can't understand. There are so many elk who get killed and they only eat the soft tissues, but wolves don't do that. One wolf pack, and I said to her, it's not wolves. They are not wolves who do that. But then I didn't tell her the things I know.
Right. Right.
So we had a major clash here, he said just recently. So that's why they also need security, the ones. They have to watch over the back, on and off, of course. The same thing, as I said, the same thing in a gang. Someone or somebody, they want to overthrow the power. And then we can jump into the question of why it's only the alpha couple who mates. That's also for security reasons. The other one can mate, of course, if they're younger ones, but then they have to leave the pack. Because otherwise, it can be a threat. Look upon the courts. Look upon all the fights within the court. You can see, Game of Thrones is also a good example, but in reality, that you have a half-brother who are envy and want to be the king, become the king. And then he and his wife maybe have 4 sons, and you have only 2 sons, and they kill each other. Like, this has gone on for mankind forever, since Cain and Abel. Cain and Abel. Yeah, sorry, I pronounced it wrong.
You're fine. You don't need to apologize.
I always do when I speak like a dork.
No, you're fine.
I have high standards, Jeff. So it sounds more Swedish than actually it sounds in reality. When we meet, you're gonna see that I speak better than it sounds through the phone.
Well, like I said, I mean, your English is good. You know, you have very good English, and you have a very good understanding of the language. So you don't have to apologize. Believe me.
No,
I think the guests or the audience don't think that you have bad English either. I mean, for someone from Sweden, you certainly speak well.
Thank you. And the thing is that when I talk to Jeff off air, it's so much easier because then it becomes a flow. But now I have to think first and form the sentence in my head before I speak out. That's why there's a little bit delay. That's why a little bit and and eh. Anyway, yeah. So that's why there are only the alpha couple who mates. So nobody can come and put a knife in your back when you're an alpha. So the beta couple should be loyal, of course. They are loyal, supposed to be loyal because the family, they are, the beta couple, the beta female, of course she's not inbred, she's from another pack.
Right.
So there will be no inbreeding, but they have to be loyal, of course. The prince and the princess have to be loyal and swear to the king. Same thing. It is logical when you explain it like that.
Yeah. Now here's a speaking of language. Do
Yes,
they
sir.
have their own language?
Yes, sir. They have.
Okay.
I
And
can't speak for all the different species because some of them are, in quotation marks, lower race of dogmen.
right. That was going to be my next
But
question. Would the
yeah,
alpha, obviously the 7 alphas or whatever, all have to have the same kind of language because they communicate, they meet up and communicate.
yes,
But would like let's say a small pack of dogmen from Sweden
yes,
met up with a small pack of dogmen over in, I don't know, the tail side of Russia over in Siberia. Would their
yes,
language be similar?
yes,
Okay.
because they speak telepathically and they are in connection with each other. Not maybe all, the like Omega, but still though the leader of the pack, they are in constant contact with each other if needed, if they want to. They can of course switch off like a radio. It's not that they are going around, oh yeah, I wonder what Bill does today, or and the alphas, the big alphas, they can communicate with each and every dogman on Earth.
Okay.
And also with each other, like switching out a shortwave radio, long wave radio, like, hey. But they are keeping themselves to their own areas. But if needed, they can communicate.
Understandable.
Yeah.
We, like you said too, you I guess we both kind of misunderstood the days and stuff. We're about an hour in, and there are some questions that you had seen that you needed to ask and wait for an answer from Miss Misha and Alpha.
Yes.
So we can always do another show in the future. I know you've got still some time left before
yeah.
you got to get back to work. So
Imagine it's almost being 1 hour on air. It's incredible.
yeah.
Time
So
flies.
why don't we call it a day, and that we'll wait a couple of days. I'm gonna go through some other questions too, and even the ones that you've answered, because like I said, the people that you answered, only they know the answer, and unless the people went through the comment section. So I'll go through and write down the questions, but then we'll wait for a couple of days for the questions that really had to that you'd get from Alpha or Miss Misha.
Yes. How many minutes do we still have on this segment?
We got some time. We got some time. Share away with whatever you want to share, my friend.
Yes. Now I'm going to jump to different subjects.
Yeah.
Dogmen and also Bigfoot, they see infrared light miles away. So that's the point of getting a game cam or trail cam, because that's why they rip them down, because they spotted them miles away. It's like, during war, you don't lit a cigarette in the middle of the night. Same thing here.
Yeah, that's just like in World War I and II. You'd use a match to light all your buddies' cigarettes, so there wasn't two matches, lighting.
Yep. And they respect the electricity for two reasons. They've seen fallen wires killing some of or one or more in the pack. And also, this kind of knowledge is, of course, handing down to the young ones, like they do in the animal kingdom. If you say they're not animals, but you can understand what I'm thinking of. And also the high power rifles from the Force. They have great power in this kind of weapons. So it's based on some sort of electricity. So that's why it's almost like a science fiction when they kill a dogman that way. Like Stargate Atlantis, or I haven't seen Star Trek, but the same thing with the Star Wars. I've seen Star Wars, the first 3 movies at least. So that's why they have great respect for electricity.
Okay.
And they want to stay out of the light, of course. If you have, I heard that people are getting harassed. They have put up some really big floodlights, and that's a very effective way to keep them off coming knocking on the doors.
Yeah.
And also some reports that people have encounters close to the railroads, and that's a very good reason, or logical reason, because a train, they hit whatever comes in their way. So easy food. Of course, if they hit deers, some other animals, then they become scavengers, and of course it's very easy for them. They don't have to run and chase deer. If the train kills a couple of deer, or a herd of deer who's standing on the track, free meal, easy meal.
Yeah. They don't have to waste the energy to go and hunt.
No, exactly. They play smart.
Yep.
If somebody had me a Big Mac when I'm going out for lunch, thank you so very much, and I go back and work a little bit later on. I don't have to stand in line.
Right.
They switch easily between bipedal and quadruped. Very easy.
Okay.
And it's true that they pop the joints, so people who heard this popping noise sound, it's accurate. They look upon werewolves, like I said before, as abominations, because werewolves have more human legs, and that's dabbing with black magic. So they just kill them. They see them as an enemy, as an abomination. Those kinds of beings. Sorry, I'm just going to cross off.
Yeah, take your time.
Yeah. And the structure between alpha was somebody who asked. And I think I answered that one within this answer about the pack and why the alphas don't allow other couples to mate. And the structure between alphas, of course, they get challenged by some, and some are very loyal. Some working together if they have different territories but close to each other, and some become some sort of rivalry. And that's why when it happens, big alphas step in and say, "Hey, enough." Just like a gang, like a gang. Do you have any more questions there while I scanning through?
I'm looking
my
through
notes
right now as you go. I've got one. I was looking through the comments, and I had purposely put an upload up this morning to kind of be a, I guess, starter point. And
yeah,
and someone actually asked the question, and I wasn't aware of it, with the angel protecting people in America, Brad in America, and he had called it a hellhound. And you had commented on that question as well. Now, is Alpha aware that there are angelic beings hunting hellhounds out there, and how does he feel about that, if he knows? Or has he not had that opportunity to ask?
Yes. He is aware of everything. So he is aware about those stuff as well. And because they are put here on Earth to protect us, they're of course happy to have assistance from angelic beings. And the hellhounds, they are demonic. They come from another place, come from another source. That's why, of course, all assistants are looked upon as, thank you very much, then we don't have to do the dirty job.
Right.
So they are aware.
Okay.
Maybe they don't cooperate with the angels and other good things around us that actually protect us in that way, because they are, like I said, they are on their own, and that way they have their own task. It's not that Bigfoot and Dogman are working together, actively, but they do it on their own part. Like I said, with the crawlers on the rake, they know that the other ones are also killing them, and the same thing there. Oh, thank you. Then we don't need to do it. It's your shift now. We go over here and eat some reindeer, some moose, or some deer. We're taking a lunch break now, so that's good. And now I just realized what I was supposed to say, guys. In Maryland, you have Goatman, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of there's a hot spot for Goatman in Maryland.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the reason why he is roaming around that much is, have you heard about a lot of encounters or attacks from Dogman in Maryland? I haven't heard about almost any case, and I've been, scanning internet for years and years and years. I listen to all the channels.
Yeah, I can say a handful, if that.
Yeah. So I have to ask Big Alpha about that one, because I'm curious about the answer myself. I know that down in Texas is also the Goatman Bridge, the Goatman Bridge. But I was actually thinking about, Maryland. No, I haven't heard that much. Also, Montana is also another ball game. And the reason why a Goatman can roam around as he or them can do is probably there's not many Dogmen around. Because it's their task.
I can answer that right now. I have a file of subscriber, because when a subscriber will send me their encounter, I had to put my headphones back on because I just ran over to my filing cabinet. When a subscriber sends me their encounter, and I will print it out and I file it state by state. I just grabbed my Maryland folder, and there are 4 encounters out of Maryland. If I grabbed any other state, there's at least 10. So Maryland is not, like you said, hotspot for Goatman. Goatman has, if you look up Maryland and type it in, Goatman. And I'm curious about that Goatman Bridge. I think that the one in Texas, that more or less, I think, is just a name for it. I think there's a demonic entity that is seen that is mistaken for a goat because of so much tragedy. I know that if that bridge, when you're on that bridge and you take it to behind off the road, there's a full-sized Ouija board painted on concrete behind that bridge. And it's about 20 feet by 20 feet. It's just gigantic. And people try to summon things there. So I don't think it's a physical
cryptid.
Yeah, I think it's a manifestation that is spotted in Texas.
Yeah, then you also have the aspect you can have manifestation, or there actually are demons who pose as Goatman, and then you have Goatman as a cryptid, which actually are not a part, but they are demonic, but they are flesh and blood-ish in that way. So that's also an interesting aspect of it. Definitely. I can just see here now, from one thing to another, that Lore Fincher, I don't know if it's Lore is a he or a she, but because I haven't come over the name Lore, is it a
it's a
female
she,
name or
it's a
male?
she, it's a female.
It's a she, yeah. She wrote that her comments were gone, and I've also seen that one, that some of the comments are disappearing. And she asked me about a transcription on those questions and answers, and I said I don't have the time to sit down and send it to each and every of the listeners who want it. Yeah. But she had a good reason why she asked for it. So, Lore, if you hear me, check my email and send me an email, and I will help you as far as I can, because this is within my task also to help you guys as much as I can with certain things as that, if you have a good reason for it.
Unfortunately, YouTube goes comments, like people are subscribed and unsubscribed to the channel by YouTube and the algorithm and stuff like that. And there's no rhyme or reason to it. Why some comments disappear and don't disappear, it's strange. I was looking for a comment earlier that I had seen and couldn't find it because it was actually a good question. For some reason, YouTube, I don't know if it's multiple or if there's multiple kind of comments from a same subscriber in one comment section, that it'll just limit it down.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah.
So I just say to all of you guys who's listening, please don't send me email just like that, because I don't have the time.
Well, your email's not available to share right now, so that nobody can.
No, that's good, because this is a special thing, special not occasion, but she had a good reasons to ask me that question, and because she had also a lot of questions. And please, if you have questions, just put them in the comment section, because I scan through it and Jeff scans through it. It will take a little bit of time to answer all of them, and like I said, I gather them and see if they are actually same questions. So maybe you personally don't get an answer from me, but you will get an answer because maybe you're 4, 5, 6 people who ask the same question.
Right. Yeah.
So no offense, folks. Don't take offense that I don't answer with a long answer. Just comment and say thank you, just to show, and a thumbs up to show that I've read it. And like I said, I appreciate all the questions, and I was raised good, so that's why you say please and thank you to everything, and you are respectful. As long as you're respectful to me and Jeff, no problem. And if you disagree, no problem at all. It's a matter of opinion. And if you can add something to it that I haven't thought of, or actually should ask Big Alpha about, or Miss Misha, no problem. I don't take offense about that one.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, we had talked about that earlier. And,
you just fire away, people. It's no problem.
Absolutely. All right. We are coming up on time. I want to thank you for taking some time out of your day today. Why don't we, what we can do is, how about in a couple of days, I'll touch bases with you, and we'll I'll write down a bunch of questions that I'm scanning through. You can, and if you have time to ask Miss Misha or Alpha, or have time to do a follow-up show, we can do that. But I want to make sure that we have a lot of the questions that you can't answer on your own, that you had to ask Alpha or Miss Misha, and give them time to answer it as well. So we can do maybe a follow-up in a week or so. No rush, because it's on their time, not ours, and not mine.
Exactly.
So, but it's always...
Sorry to interrupt you.
No, what were you going to say?
Yeah, while I'm waiting for answers, while I gather all the questions, I can also do a show with the encounters that I have and Miss Misha. I can tell you the story if I'm allowed to, but I think I am.
Yeah.
How it started for her. And then we have crossed out that one off the list, because now I have an empty list on my hand. I know that I've sent you 2 more pages, but my immediate list here is crossed off, and that's why I'm now have the time to go through the questions.
Okay.
More, because this was the basic information that I was supposed to give out to you guys who listen, and also of course to Jeff.
Yeah.
So it will be smoother and smoother the more time, or the more times we answer questions and have a show.
Yep. All right. That sounds good. So we can.
Perfect.
I'll touch bases with you in a couple of days, and see if you're free for that encounter, and then whenever the questions that pertain to Alpha or Miss Misha, we can wait on those and respectfully wait on those until they have time to answer them. So
yeah, that would be perfect. And I apologize if somebody take offense that I wasn't prepared today, but I actually misunderstood Jeff because we were chatting away. Local time it was midnight, and you say talk to you tomorrow, and for me it was 7-8 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
So that's why I wasn't that prepared. I was supposed to. My intentions was to be more prepared.
Yeah. Well, is there anything that you'd like to say to end this video, wrap it up with?
No, everything's good, and I'm looking forward to all the questions that you have, and also to answer the ones that you already wrote to me.
Yeah. Yep. All right, my friend. Well, don't hang up because I want to talk to you for a few minutes after. It's always a pleasure having you on.
Always a pleasure for me to come out on your platform. Thank you very much, Jeff.
And thank Miss Misha and Alpha for allowing us to hear this information, and let them know that I appreciate it and that all of the people that are commenting appreciate it as well.
Yeah, I can tell you for sure before we hang up is that Miss Misha has been so busy with her ordinary life that she hasn't had the chance to even listen to the 2 first segments. That's so as busy as she can be. That's why I haven't talked to her in that way. But she's gonna also comment and correct me if I'm wrong, or also add some information that I don't know. It's not maybe. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah. So
all right, my friend.
Would be perfect future. Yeah, perfect, my friend.
I'm looking forward to the next upload with the encounters. So I will.
Great. Me too.
Talk to you soon. All right. Don't hang up.
Yep.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks, folks. Bye-bye.
Great interview. I'm very happy with how the interview went. John's got a lot of information to share, and I'm looking forward to the next interview because it's not going to be kind of a Q&A or whatnot. It's going to be, he's going to share his encounters with us and his friend Miss Misha's, which is something that I have not heard either. So it's going to be pretty interesting. Looking forward to it. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's upload as much as I enjoyed sharing them with you. And with that, everyone stay safe. May the Great Spirit watch over us all, and may He guide us down that path that we call life.